Folks, welcome to 100 GB and welcome to 2024. Tech industry is right now going through a phase called RIF, which is known as reduction in force. So if you're someone who's still in college, let me break it to you that things are serious. So if someone says to you things are fine, just prepare for the interviews. If not today, you'll see an opening tomorrow and you can probably apply and just go through the interview rounds. Well, let me tell you again, no one knows if that's going to happen, and no one knows if that's going to stay like it was before the pandemic or during the pandemic. If you're someone who is already in industry, I'm pretty sure you will resonate with this video. And another thing you should probably take note of is that you should try to be in the most business critical team at your company right now. So what can we do about all of this? Well, let's just follow along as I try to find the answer today. So let's take a look at some history and stats. By the way, I created a detailed video in 2023, like around January, February when the layoffs happened. So in that video, we actually went through the history and we figured out two primary learnings from the history. Like one was that good times are not far ahead. Like 2023 layoffs were just a course correction and things will probably be better now. And then like the other thing that we could figure out from the history was that the layoffs are like they can possibly spread to other industries as well, and especially today when everything is a lot more interconnected. Hold that thought. Now let's see some stats. Alright, if I go to layoffs.fyi and if I see the 2022 data, 165k people were laid off and around 1,000 companies did that. Then 2023, 262k people were laid off, which is like roughly around 50% rise. In 2024, like just in 1 month, 34,000 people have been laid off. If I try to be very lame and I just try to multiply it with 12, the number that I come up with is like around 55% rise when compared to 2023. Not sure if that's the right thing to do, because if you try to compare the January 2024 with January 2023, the number of layoffs that happened in January 2023 were quite a lot. And like if the same trend continues in 2024, then the total number will be much less than that 55% rise. Anyways, if we try to be lame, it looks like things are not improving. But if we see this graph, we saw the layoff trend increasing up till 2023, and it has been decreasing at least until December 2023. Okay, let's still try to build on this concept that things are not improving, things are not settling, because hey, we are software engineers and we always talk about the worst case and optimize for it. If you see the bright side, the numbers are not just for software engineers. These are probably for project managers, recruiters, UX designers, tons of other job form factors around tech. So why are the layoffs happening now? There could be many reasons. Well, let's try to look at the reasons that we identified in 2022 and 2023. The primary reason was the course correction because of the false positive growth that the company saw during pandemic and unprecedented hiring that happened post-pandemic because of that. And then the other part of the reason was rising fuel prices, which in turn caused inflation, which contributed to the layoffs. If you come to the reasons in 2024, I think that course correction is still there because we see these cost-cutting measures from various companies. But the elephant in the room is AI. I mean, it's taking over slowly and steadily. I'm not sure if I should say slowly, but it's still happening. The no-code platforms are on the rise. Like we have tons of them right now. Flutterflow, NoCode.io, Pecan.ai, Bubble.io, then Zapier, and whatnot. AI is also like already shining in writing and reviewing code. So I'm not sure if you've heard of this new IDE in the market called Zed. So interestingly, it's built by the same team that built Atom and Electron Shell a few years back. The entire IDE is like AI powered. Think of it like the entire code is known by the AI. You can select pieces of code and ask the IDE to do lots of stuff. And so based on the existing knowledge of the code, it'll actually do the right thing. Or maybe it's supposed to. It's not a paid promotion. No, I haven't tried it as of now. I just saw the advertisement and I believe in the folks at least.
I believe in you.
Anyway, so I believe that the day is not far that an engineer will just write the design and AI will just implement things. If not the engineer, then maybe the product manager will give out the product requirements and AI will do everything. But hold that thought. We'll discuss it again. All right, now that we see the reasons, I also want to spend some time on talking about the experts and various YouTubers that we have. So experts, A quick note about experts. Like when I say experts, I mean all the maybe the tech founders, the economy experts on Twitter and whatnot. I'd say that if they knew so much, we wouldn't have landed ourselves into this situation, which has been going on for the last 2 years. I would say that whenever you are reading something which is written by an expert, just don't take it too hard. They are writing it with their own experience, which may not be relevant today or relevant at all. Anyway, so no one really knows what's going to happen. Everyone can talk about their own experiences based on the situation they were in, and now things are very different.
What the is this? I don't know.
I plan to create like a separate video on that later. Okay, let's focus more on the YouTubers and influencers. So I'm pretty sure that you've heard, so there's nothing to fear from AI. We are software engineers. Our jobs will transform with it. Well, yes, our jobs will of course transform with it, but it looks like no one really tries to go deeper into what that transformation might look like. Okay, so let's be lame and maybe just try to reverse engineer stuff. So I'm a software engineer. I write unit tests given the normal code that I've written. If AI knows that code, AI can write unit tests. So I'm an engineer. I write code. Given I know all the responsibilities and dependency of whatever needs to be done. If all the responsibilities and everything is known by AI, AI writes the code. So if I, as software engineer, if I am designing a system, I have the product requirements with me. If the same product requirements are fed to AI, I can probably design the system, right?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Because there is a step involved where we get the product requirements. We try to resolve the ambiguities, but even AI can resolve the ambiguities. Given that all the input that we are getting is fed to the AI as well. So you kind of know that where I am going with all of this. I was talking to a senior AI friend working at some big tech like a few days back, and he told me that these are really hard problems to solve, as in for folks like us who really don't know anything deeper about AI, it might sound very easy to say that, okay, it's just AI will just build softwares. There are some fundamental challenges still like to be solved, but he's of the opinion that one way or the other, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen pretty soon. So this is what the transformation might look like, and you should probably be ready. So some YouTubers create this video around how to become a better software engineer. So let's try to understand that. So folks, so this is you, and there are two destinations here. One is landing a job, and the other one is being a better software engineer. Now, so this is the path that the YouTubers aspire to talk about. But what they end up mentioning is this one, where you just prepare for DSA in order to land a job. So one thing is that you as a viewer should have a clear understanding on what they're talking about. Like DSA will help you land a job, yes. Will it make you a better software engineer? No. It might make you a better programmer. Software engineering is a totally different game altogether. It comes from experience. It comes from talking to multiple people, working in a team, working on a big project, and stuff like that. Then here comes the fun part. Someone did an analysis of the Meta layoffs that happened in 2022. If you see this chart, the interesting bit is this shows the number of folks in different departments at Meta that were laid off based on the number of experience. So the interesting bit is this engineering cell, which falls under this category of 1 to 3 years of experience. So the most number of engineers that were laid off were either freshers or either 10 plus years. So 10 plus years makes sense because they were probably hogging a lot of cost of the company. So they were just let go. Companies see that freshers don't have a lot of value because they need to be trained. They are like not very productive in the first year of their job, or maybe in the first couple of years, given they're working on a super big project. So coming to this path where DSA is helpful to land a job, like especially for freshers. Now, let's say if this trend continues, if other companies do the same, then what good of a path this still is? I mean, we don't know. I'm not saying don't prepare for DSA. DSA is important. You should know the basics. Yes, we all know that big companies still ask them. Startups still might continue to ask them. I'm not saying don't do that, but just be cautious about what you're doing with DSA. It's not like for a year you should just keep on doing DSA and don't do any projects. No, that shouldn't happen. Anyway, I think I'm digressing. Let's go back. Then we have some YouTubers, influencers who have some really great stories to tell on how they got that 800K offer from Fang. And many senior engineers have written books on how to grow, negotiate offers, like prepare for interviews and whatnot. The fun part is that all these experiences were written in a bull run. Now, quick pause. What is a bull and a bear run? A bull run is basically when the economy is booming, investors are putting in a lot more money, unemployment is very low, like general stuff. Things are fine, and there's an upward trend. Now, the bear market is reverse when there's a downward trend, which we are in probably. Another like fun fact is that since World War II, the biggest bull run has been this period from 2009 to 2019, which means, my friends, like all these experiences from all these YouTubers and senior engineers, senior managers, directors, VPs, whatever, they might not apply as it is to a bear run or to an economy, to a socio-economic structure where everyone is in a bear run. Again, what I'm saying is be cautious. So I think there are like plenty of very, very good software advice out there. Maybe read a few bits, try to learn as much as you can, but don't take it too hard. That may or may not work today. How to go through 2024 and beyond with all of this going on? Well, folks, reduction in force is a reality that we are in, and we should probably just adjust to it. Now, for a fresher, it's a build stuff. Like, for God's sake, start a company. Now, I know I'm started to sound philosophical, but that's probably the need of the hour. So if you still want to be a software engineer, building stuff is probably like the best way to go about it. And keep an eye on the upcoming startups, because like building is one thing. If let's say your startup or your product is not picking up, you still wanna end up getting a job. And since new startups are coming up every day, maybe they are coming. Maybe the rate is even higher. So that's something that you should definitely keep an eye on. So if you really have time, I'd say build your profile around AI and ML, because lots of companies today are building their entire product, their entire culture around AI. We will have a separate video on that. The other thing that you should do is you should try to build out alternate skills and explore other stuff. So when I say alternate skills, let's talk about leverage. So when compared to the experienced folks out there, the only leverage that you have is time. Like, I know that you guys have like tons of extra time. So put those extra hours to the use and try to learn as much alternate skills as you can. Now, let's take a very simple example. Content creation alone is amazing. Like, it has many possibilities. You can be a thumbnail creator, video editor, channel manager, content writer, I don't know. Anyway, LinkedIn strategist for your favorite YouTuber out there. If that's not enough, you can start an art and craft channel on Instagram and just start selling stuff. Start selling mobile phone covers, if you will. Teach coding to kids. So the thing that you have in your pockets, where is it? Where is the goddamn phone? Oh yeah. So this piece of silicon glass that you have in your hands, just put it to good use. I mean, this thing has got a great camera. Do filmmaking, or maybe learn filmmaking at least with this. You can create small movies as well. I mean, today's cameras they are really good. Okay, then there are a couple of recession-proof industries as well, like healthcare and food. Maybe you can try to build your profile around that, or maybe try to add some value there. So I'm not sure if you follow Nikhil Kamat's podcast. I think so that entire podcast is actually oriented around young entrepreneurs. Extremely recommended. There's a lot of learning. So there are a lot of good people in that podcast with years, like multi-decades of learning and experience, who actually recommend what can you as a young entrepreneur do in the Indian society and how you can add value. All right. So if you are an experienced engineer, the recommendation remains the same. But one thing I know is that for folks like us, it's very hard to find time. So the only leverage we have is our experience and the years of learning that we have. But again, I'm not sure how good of a leverage that is if we are laid off and then maybe we don't have any openings related to what we have done. Anyway, so I say if you're working right now, assess whether or not the team that you're working on is working on the business critical stuff. You can try to ask your manager, director, VP. I'm not sure if it'll help, because they don't want to let you go, right? So they'll always say that this is like the most critical stuff that the company is interested in. It's your responsibility. You have to assess for yourself. And if you feel that this is not something in the best interest of the company, it's probably the best time to just move on. Now, when I say this is like saying move on is pretty easy. But doing it will be very tough given the situation right now. Maybe moving inside the company is still easier, so maybe just try to explore that. But if you still want to be in the same team, needless to say, you want to up your game. You want to up your performance game. Okay, so what's the road ahead? Like looking into the future, I have a few predictions to make here. So the first one is that hiring will go generic. This I might get bashed here and there anyway, but this is a contrary to what a lot of people have said earlier. People say that hiring will go niche. My thoughts are a little different. So let's take a very concrete example. So let's say if I'm gonna build a startup a few years from now on, I won't probably hire like a web developer or a database person or a person who is just working on the web or a person who is just working on the mobile app. I'll probably just hire just one person who will look into all of that. I know that this is still easier for a full stack engineer. Like I tend to include even the mobile apps into the full stack. I think it's still easier for a full stack person to do all of this. But then expecting a full stack engineer to do the embedded work as well or working on the hardware stuff is still like difficult. So maybe at least for that, yes, we would still need quite a demarcation there. But again, I strongly believe as far as the full stack mobile development is concerned, hiring will go generic. Okay, so the other prediction I have is that freshers will have to compete with the experienced folks, which is even happening today. I mean, you can do the maths. If there are a lot of experienced people who got laid off and companies still have openings, which probably means that even the experienced folks, if they don't find jobs anywhere else, they'll end up applying to the openings for the freshers as well. And the third and the last prediction, I mean, everyone knows it, that AI is gonna eat many more jobs. So generative AI is already killing it in photo editing. I'm not sure if you have seen this the Gen AI feature on Photoshop. It'll blow your mind. I'll link a video in the description. Just check it out. So days are not far when we will see entire movies being built with generative AI. So filmmaking, directors, cameramen, not sure what will happen to them. Many art forms are going to see some competition, like the music artists, script writers, VFX artists, and even game developers. I also believe that our socio-economic structure is going to go for a slight toss. Not sure how it will look like, because now, just think of it like this: if even a 10-year-old can create a like a really nice movie, really nice 10 minutes movie, then what will the Hollywood directors do? Which probably means that our socio-economic structure will change. How it will look like, I don't know about that. And that's all I had for today. Take care, everyone. It's a lot going out in the world right now. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.